Okay, in today's video, I will be doing another gameplay commentary. So we're kind of back to, doing something that's more consistent as opposed to my tutorials in the past, which have gotten more views, and I'm very, very happy for those. But, that's not really what my channel is based on. My channel is more based on gameplay commentary and all that stuff. And by the way, for people that have subscribed to me recently, I've been checking my analytics every now and then. I noticed that a lot of people, they subscribe to me and then they unsub. I don't know what the whole problem is. I mean, this isn't really a channel that begs people for subscriptions. I don't really care if you sub to me or not because this is more of a hobby that I do on the side. It's not something that I commit to every day. So if you guys are looking for a consistent channel, then this is not the one. But if you guys subscribe to me because you appreciate my work, then I appreciate your subscription. So with that being said, let's get right into the topic here. And today's topic will be based on the whole online classes X Zoom collaboration for this year. So let's get right into it here. So for me, initially, when I first thought about this whole online class thing, I wasn't really too sure what to expect because honestly, throughout my whole college education, I've never taken an online class before. And yes, that's right, guys. I've never taken a online class before, which honestly isn't a big deal. If you can if you like going to school in person or if you can handle going to school throughout your whole college career, then that's okay. I mean, that's something that isn't too bad. But the idea of a alternative route, the whole online class route, is always something that's really intrigued me. And like I said earlier, I've never really thought about it until now. And it wasn't until I think last semester that my class switched from 8 weeks or half the semester of meeting in person because the pandemic was getting worse and worse to the whole online class kind of hybrid that we kind of adopted towards the latter or the remaining 8 weeks of my spring semester. And I was like, okay, this wasn't so bad. I mean, I wasn't going to classes frequently, which was good, but I felt like I was getting a little taste of what to expect for the whole online classes. And it wasn't until this current semester, fall 2020, that I actually started to take some online classes, and honestly, I appreciate it. I actually like it. It's something that um, it's something that I was sleeping on, I suppose. I never really thought how wonderful it was because for me, it's like okay, I can take the bus, I can go to school like I'm going to work and commute and all that, but I would remember that even in high school, especially during senior year, I would start ditching, every now and then. And for me, my main reason was because I just didn't want to go to school. I felt it was kind of pointless. I'm like, dude, like, why not just make everything online? That way, I don't have to suffer, wasting time, getting up at bed at 11 and getting out by 12 and all that. It's like, why not just try something that's a little bit more faster and a little bit more convenient. So for me, when I took the online classes, I was very, very happy that everything was finally going my way. Like I didn't have to wait for the bus anymore, and all that stuff. And it was pretty cool. I noticed that for a lot of professors too, it really depends. I think the younger ones, for them, they're more used to the whole internet thing because they were born in the era like me, where they were used to technology already. And some other professors, for instance, they're not used to this whole tech thing. They're kind of like still new to it. One example would be my professor for Asian American Studies, which is pretty much a specific study of sociology, or this is called sociology, but with a focus on Asian Americans. For him, like this guy, dude, he literally still assigns like worksheets. Like he wants us to download worksheets and submit them in, and I'm like, I don't think nobody does that anymore nowadays. Everybody they just do everything online. Like if a professor wants the students to answer questions and all that, they would make like a discussion post. They would kind of post their shit and go from there. I mean, it's pretty much digital online. The whole idea of handing papers in to people physically is kind of outdated now. Given this whole year and all that. And in terms of the whole Zoom meeting sessions and all that, it's pretty interesting because I have one professor, the Asian American one. For him, he never has any Zoom meetings, so I'm very very happy because I'm like, oh, so that means pretty much every Monday, I don't have to like wake up early. I can wake up whenever, to me it's like Monday. It's like a Sunday 2.0, or it's like a Friday, or it's like a Saturday. It's pretty much like a day off for me. And then my other professor from my history class, she wants us to meet every Wednesday, and I'm like, that's a bit too much, don't you think? And then my two other professors, they both meet, or one of them, she meets with us every 2 weeks because her class is from 6 to 8. And I'm like, dude, I've never taken a class that fucking late before, honestly, at night, dude. Like, that's absolutely insane. And then my last professor, she wants us to meet, I think maybe twice a week. It really depends because she has like this whole assignment called a discussion leadership where everybody they kind of they lead the discussion and all that. And I think we're almost done here. I mean, this class is like maybe 20 students. Is really small. So pretty much what that means is that, like, okay, for this week, for instance, I have two people that are presenting their topics, so I have to kind of be there to attend and kind of answer the questions and all that. So I'm like, shit, like, dude, like, that's kind of whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I definitely enjoyed more because it's more convenient and it's more accessible. I don't have to waste my time anymore. I can just wake up when I want to, and if I miss class, I miss class. It's my responsibility. It's like this isn't high school no more. The teachers aren't gonna hold your hand anymore, so to speak. You know what I mean? This is more of a big man kind of game. Let me see what else I could talk about. Um, yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's I guess the only good thing that these professors have done, because honestly, I'm of the opinion that we should never have Zoom meetings. But if we never had Zoom meetings, I wouldn't have met. Like right now, I've befriended a few of my classmates. Because I'm like, hey, the professor puts us in these breakout sessions where we can discuss with our groups and all that. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, hey, like talk about using the fucking Zoom meetings function for once, which is not only to do one-on-one calls like Skype, but it's also to talk to other people. And it's pretty much like, honestly, Zoom is like the new Skype 2.0. I don't know why Zoom was favored over Skype. I don't know what political agenda or what secret handshake was initiated between Zoom and COVID-19 and all that. But I'm like, dude, Skype would have been more better. But I guess because Skype was more outdated, that's why. I mean, Skype has been in the game longer, dude. I remember I used Skype before I switched to Discord. So it's like maybe they wanted to freshen things up a bit and use a new and up and coming company that more or less, I mean, has the same color font as Skype. It's blue and white, or sky blue, or cyan, or what the fuck you call it. So like, I don't really see a difference, honestly. Like, just like how I don't see that much of a difference between online and in-person classes. The same can be said more or less about Zoom and Skype. They function very, very similar. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and also whenever we have Zoom meetings, dude, I never ever talk in class. It's kind of like, even though I'm at home, I still don't feel comfortable enough to actually like talk and engage with my classmates. I just kind of like just mute my mic and I just listen to them talk. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of like listening to a podcast or something, or a live stream or whatever, because I'm like physically I'm there, but mentally I'm in heaven or hell. It's like I'm not really there. So that's pretty cool. And I never turn on my webcam. I'm just like I'm full on incognito. You know what I mean? So it's all about invasion of privacy and all that. So I'm trying to keep that sacred to my heart. But jokingly aside, yeah, I don't really talk unless I have to. And even when I do talk in breakout sessions, I never use my webcam, never, until I feel comfortable. But I'm like, it's whatever. I mean, I like when I use like Facebook or YouTube or whatever, I don't really post pictures of myself. I kind of hide behind a little Google image picture because that's how I kind of roll. But yeah, overall, Zoom's really interesting. I'm glad that this is my first introduction to online classes because I think next semester is going to be more or less the same. So I'm kind of getting used to it already. And I think maybe when COVID-19 fucks off in the 2021 and if classes go back to person, I may or may not take it. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole Zoom meeting talk. It's sourceful, it's hopeful, and it's kind of more of my alley. I was talking to some of my friends too, and they're like, "No, dude, I can't handle online. I gotta do it in person." I'm like, "All right. I mean, I guess You know, it really depends on what kind of college student you are. Are you the one that, prefers to be in person, or do you like hiding behind the camera? I don't know. But with that being said, that'll be it for this video. I'll probably upload another video maybe next week or so, and maybe the 30th of December I'll start doing a new series. So you'll kind of see me become more semi-active, especially because this year's wrapping up, and I'm like, hey, even though this year was kind of honestly ass, to be honest, I want to make the most out of it. I want to be more productive because this year has given me a lot of time to think about, my life and all that. So I'm like, hey, why not just be more productive on YouTube and, do something for once. But yeah, anyways, that'll be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.